Hello, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another reading vlog where I'm gonna be reading The Mad Ship. So The Mad Ship is book 2 in the Liveship Traders Trilogy, which is part of the Realm of the Elderlings series. And this is a fantasy series, and I will leave the link for my video for book 1 in the description in case you haven't checked it out and want to check it out before you watch this one. And I really enjoyed book 1, and it's like the way it ended, it left me very excited to start this one. So I just could not wait to get back into this world. And I just want to say that there are definitely spoilers in this reading vlog, and let's just get into it. Okay, so I am 298 pages into The Mad Ship, so that's like 1/3 in. And actually the first thing we read, so the prologue and the first and the last chapter I read were both about the serpents. And in the prologue they find other serpents that have like forgotten basically like who they are and what they are, because we know that the serpents are looking for the one who remembers, which I am still very confused about, but I mean, I do know that. And so they find some serpents that have forgotten everything, and they decide that, they'll need to keep looking so the same doesn't happen to them. And then in the last chapter I read, they find other serpents that are like forgetting, but then somehow they manage to remember again, like who they are and what they are looking for, and they join the like serpents that we were already following, and they're all together still gonna search for the one who remembers. And then we are following still Winthrop and Kenneth is still in charge of the Vivacia, he and his pirates, and his leg is still like very bad after he was bitten by one of these serpents, and his leg is infected, and Winthrop in the other book like said that he would help. So like Winthrop is trying to figure out, because when he was studying to be a priest, he saw other priests like doing surgery basically, and he had assisted on some, but he had never done it himself. So he's still trying to like figure out how to do it, and he does manage to like remove Kenneth's leg, but Kenneth is like dying. And then like when he's dying, his consciousness kind of merges with Wintrop's, and like they have shared memories, and we mostly see this from Kenneth's POV, and he has basically seen like what Winthrop has suffered, and now like he is alive, he's okay, and he just really wants to protect Winthrop. And then we see Althea, who is still on the other life ship, Ophelia, and she is trying to get home. And then she does get home because she needs to warn her family about something that is happening like to all of the traders, and that the traders basically need to like stand together. And like when she gets home, she learns about everything that has gone wrong, and basically like her niece is about to marry someone, or like she is being courted, and she also learns that like Kyle should have gotten back already with the Vivacia, but he hasn't. And like we know that they have been taken by the pirates, but they obviously don't know that. And she also like she asks her sister to give her the ship back, but she doesn't, and her mom is just trying to like calm them both down. But I'm just like, Althea would be the only one who could actually maybe fix things. Like, why don't you just give her the ship? Like, she was literally raised to be the captain of the ship, so like, I am still kind of pissed. And then we see that Brashen, who was the first mate in the Vivacia, like in the beginning of the first book, like he sees the Vivacia and like learns that she has been taken by pirates, and he tries to find a way to go warn Althea's family. And then you also see Amber, who is like Paragon's friend, Paragon is the mad ship, and she is talking about her dreams about like serpents and dragons, because Paragon asks her what she had dreamt about, and she says the same thing: serpents and dragons, the nine-fingered slave boy. So that is Wintro. Moreover, I hear your voice, calling warnings and threats, but you are not you. You are someone else, and there is something. I don't know. It all tatters away like cobwebs in the wind. The more I grasp after it, the worse I rend it. And then she's also talking to Althea after Althea like gets home to her family, and she says, I wish most of all to solve the riddle of the dragon and the serpent. And like somehow she was expecting Althea to know what she was talking about, but Althea like had absolutely no idea. And so Amber was kind of confused, and I am very confused. But that is pretty much where I am at. And I am really liking it. I mean, I really like the first one as well, but I feel like I am already liking this one more, and I'm really like into the story. And I'm not sure if what's happening in this one is like even more interesting, or if I am just like more connected to the story and the characters. But I am really, really loving it, and I like still love Wintro. He's still my favorite character, and like I have some mixed feelings about Kenneth now, because I mean I still absolutely hate him, but he's the only person who like tries to, you know, protect Wintro and like kind of cares about Wintro, so like I appreciate that, but I hate everything else about him. And I mean, Kyle like barely appeared, but it was still enough to infuriate me, like the one or two scenes he was in. And I also really hate Malta. She is like Kyle's daughter, so like Althea's niece, the one that is supposed to marry someone. She really pisses me off. And also still love Althea and still very invested in her plot. And I am now more invested in the serpents because the scenes that we had with them were very interesting, and I want to know more about them basically. And yeah, that is what I have to say for now. I am having a great time, and I will read probably another third, and we'll get back to you. Okay, so I am on page 608, and I think the last thing I said in my first update was that Brashen was going to try to warn Althea's family that the Vivacia had been taken by pirates. And so pretty much we start this part that I read now with Brashen telling them that, and they assume that Wintro and Kyle might probably be dead, or they will be dead soon, because that is Kenneth's reputation. He takes slaver ships and kills the crew. And I mean, we know they are not dead, but their family is assuming that they are or will be soon. And then there is like something that I don't fully understand. And basically, Rain, who is the guy that is kind of engaged to Malta, he has a dream, and he sees like there is a dragon in his dream. And actually, like before the dragon, I mean, the dragon has been appearing to him for a long time, but that specific night, Malta is like talking to Rain through the dreams. There's a box that they can like connect through dreams, and she asks him for help with like her family, and then the dragon appears, and the dragon also asks for help because the dragon apparently wants freedom. And she says to Malta, my freedom in exchange for this ship you mentioned. If your father is still aboard, his life. What say you? An easy trade, is it not? A life for a life. And then Rain is explaining that like he cannot do that, and he tells Malta that the dragon is trapped far beneath the earth where no one can free her. Somehow an entire city was buried under a heavy layer of earth. It was so long ago that trees have grown in the earth above it. The dragon is in a chamber deep within the buried city. There is no way to free her. And I don't really know what's happening, but I'm intrigued. And then moving on from that, Kenneth gets rid of some people basically in the Pirate Isles, And one of the people that he gets rid of is Kyle. He doesn't kill him, but he leaves him there, like close to where his mother lives. And then he, like, I think I said that I had mixed feelings about him in my previous update. I don't anymore. I just absolutely hate him. He is horrible. But I do have mixed feelings about what he's doing. And then Winthrose said like what he was feeling, and it was pretty much what I was feeling. Because I mean, he is like freeing the slaves, and obviously that's great, but not the way that he's doing it, and especially because he doesn't actually care about them. He just wants power for himself. So like what he's doing is good, but not the way he's doing it. But anyway, the ship, Vivacia, is kind of like in love. I don't know if in love is the right term because, I mean, it's a ship, you know? But she is kind of in love with Brashen, and she decides that she will go into piracy for him and, you know, do whatever he wants her to do, sail wherever he wants her to go. Then we also get some chapters from the Serpent POV, and they are like talking about their, you know, purpose, what they're looking for, and one of them is saying, the recombination of old lives into new lives. It is what we all hear summoning us. Our time to be serpents is over. We must find she who remembers. That one will guide us to where we can seek rebirth as new creatures. We will be as we once were. The memories you cannot understand, the dreams that frighten come from that time. When they come to you, do not chase them away. Ponder them. Pursue them into the open and share them. So I'm like, they were not serpents? They were other creatures? Like, what? And then they find one of those creatures that is supposed to be like the one that has the memories, but it doesn't have the memories anymore, and it's like very, very confused. But then it says, they sawed me into planks and from them created a new body. They made me anew in their own image, gouging away until they had shaped me a face and head and body such as they were. And they drenched me in their own memories, until one day I awoke as someone else. Rings Gold, they named me, and so I became a live ship, a slave. So that just made me even more confused. And then Rain's family is talking about, like, the dragon that talks to Rain, and that it's, like, somehow trapped. And they're saying, there is no dragon. Whatever was in there died long ago. It was probably mad before it died. All that is left of it are its memories. It is no more alive than live ships are truly alive. The planks absorb memories and retain them. That is all. If it weren't true, we wouldn't be able to cut up a log and allow Bingtowners to store fresh memories in them. Anyone who talks to a live ship is really talking to himself, mingled with the family memories stored in the wood. They're all talking about memories, and I am very confused. But moving on, Althea goes to the Traders Council to ask for help to get the Vivacia and the rest of her family, but it doesn't really go as planned. But then Brashen and Ember have their own plan, and they want to use Paragon, the mad ship, to go find Vivacia. And like before they leave, I mean, they have to fix Paragon and all of that because he has been just, you know, sitting on the sand for ages, so it needs to be fixed. And while they are, you know, preparing to leave, Althea is like the son of the captain of the Ophelia. I mean, he already like kind of proposed to Althea, but he does it again and again and again and again. And she was kind of like unsure for a while, but then she just decided that she will not marry him. First of all, because like she is not in love with him. And secondly, because marrying him would mean having to give up on her dream of being captain of her own ship. And they set away on the Paragon. And at first the Paragon is like sulking because he was sold by his family, which, I mean, shouldn't even be possible according to like their traditions, the traders' traditions. The like live ships always have to sail with their family, but he was sold and he was just feeling obviously very sad. So he was sulking the whole time. But then he realized that like Brashen and Ember and Althea, like they actually care about him, they actually like him, and he was starting like to feel a connection to them as he used to feel with his family. And so he's not feeling as bad anymore, and that is pretty much where I'm at. And I am loving this book. And in the previous one, I was left like wanting a lot more from Paragon, and I am definitely getting it, especially in this section that I read. And I absolutely love the connection between Paragon and Ember. It is so cute. And like I said, I am really intrigued about Dragon that talks to Rain in the Serpents, and if there is any connection, and what exactly is the connection between the Serpents and the live ships. I am so confused, but like in a good way. I am very intrigued. And yeah, I am having a great time with this book. I am loving every second of reading it. And yeah, I am gonna finish it, and I will be back to update one last time and give my final thoughts. Okay, so I finished the book, and we started this last third with Kenneth and the rest of the crew getting to one of the like pirate towns, and it has sort of been destroyed and no one has rebuilt it. And Kenneth is still trying to be like the pirate king, but most of the pirates there don't really want to accept him as king. And then Wintro started defending Kenneth, which I was like so confused about, because he literally said, Kenneth is a good man, which, a bad start, who has always cared for you. He clearly has not. Even when you spurned his offers of help, you have never been far from his heart. I doubted his motives at first. I feared him. But I can tell you this now. I have seen into his heart, and I believe now what he believes. Sa has put a destiny upon him. Kenneth will be king of the Pirate Isles. Will you be one of his cities, or will you vanish? And I was like, bro, what are you doing? And basically then we learned that he thinks this because he was told that basically Sa, which is his god, has put Kenneth in his way, and it's just what his god wants. And so now that's why he was defending Kenneth. And I was like, bro, why? What the fuck are you doing? And so basically they do accept Kenneth as king. And then we see Paragon, he and the crew are attacked by one of the serpents, and he says that he knew the serpent. So it's still all about memories. And then Vivacia also talks about memories, and she's saying, blood is memory. His blood is soaked into me, and I know his memory of being here. It is the memory of a man. But when last I was in these waters, I slipped through them, swift and sleek. I was new and young. I began here, Wintro. I began here, not once, but many times. It's all a circle that turns. Nothing stops, nothing is lost, and it all goes spiraling on. Like thread on a spool, Wintro. Around and around it goes, layering on in circles, and yet it is always the same piece of thread. And so basically, I know, and I knew at this point that there is some connection between the serpents and the live ships, but I'm still not entirely sure what they are. And then we learn a little more because Wintro finds a trapped serpent, but it looks different from the other serpents, and he has a mental connection with that serpent, kind of like he has with Vivacia, and he can see memories. And he releases the serpent, and then she says that she's the one who remembers, the one that all the other serpents are looking for. And I literally gasped when I read that. And then he was still kind of saying the serpent's memory. And it says, there would be guides awaiting them at the river to protect them on their journey upstream and to stand watch over them as they awaited their metamorphosis. It had been so long, but she was free now, and all would be well. And so from what I gathered, the serpents kind of change into dragons. I just don't really know exactly how they become the live ships, but there was the other dragon that was trapped in Wizardwood. So, they become each other somehow. And then after Wintro had those memories about the serpents and all of that, he was thinking about Vivacia, and it says, could he keep what he knew from her? For so long she had believed she was truly alive. He must not let her know that she was dead. So is wizard wood, like the dead serpents. Moving on, the town where like Althea's family lives is attacked and is like burning. And so they're trying to, save their town. And at the same time, Malta is still trying to save her father and like the ship. And she goes looking for that dragon that speaks to rain. And she does find the dragon, and the dragon promises her that she will leave Rain alone and that she will help her find her father if she basically like releases her. And basically the dragon is released, and she says that she's going to like save her city, and Malta is still like trapped, and she's not doing well. And then I think the last thing we see is that she who remembers like tags along with the Vivacia on her way to deliver her memories to the serpents, and that is how the book ended pretty much. And so let's go into my final thoughts. And so starting off with the characters and starting off with Althea, I continue to love her, and I continue to love following her journey as she fights for what she wants and for what she deserves. And I also continue to love Winthrop. He's still my favorite character, but it really pissed me off when he was just defending Kenneth and saying that, the others should accept him as leader because he's a good man. Like, he's not. He's awful. He is not good in like any way. So that definitely, I didn't like that. And Kenneth himself, I hate. Like I said many times, I did have a moment of mixed feelings just because he treated Winthrop, not exactly nicely, but better than everyone else. But no, I just hate him. And speaking of hate, I also still hate Kyle. And I'm glad he's kind of gone. Like, I wish we would never have to see him again, but I'm pretty sure he'll be back in book 3. And also Malta, like, I really didn't like her in book 1. I really didn't like her in like half of this book, but she definitely grew on me in maybe like the second half of the book. And now like I'm kind of worried about her because, like I said, she's not in a good situation. And then Vivacia, I do like her, but I don't like that she loves Kenneth. And Paragon, I really liked to follow him and to learn more about him, and I really like his relationship with Amber. And finally, I really loved to see more of the serpents and the dragons, and getting to know more about them was really cool. And basically, I was just invested in this book from beginning to end. I honestly read it much faster than I expected, and that's just because I was so into the story. And I feel like we got a lot of answers, especially from the non-human characters, but I still have so many questions. And yeah, I mean, I really love this book. I had such a great time with it. It is just like not perfect for me because of the pacing. Even though I was always invested, I was never ever bored. It is still, a very slow moving book, slower than I would have preferred, but I really loved it, and I gave it 4.5 stars. And I cannot wait to start book 3. Like, literally, when I finished this, I wanted to get straight into book 3, but I just felt like, I needed to take a pause, I needed to take a break, but I am so excited to get into book 3. But anyway, that is everything for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you have enjoyed it, and if you did, give it a like and subscribe, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!